What is up, everybody? It is me, the hostess with the mostest. It is your girl, Easy Breezy, inviting you to join me every Thursday night for the UpLIFT Show with Breezy, exclusively here on Stellar Award nominated Awesome God Radio. It is my mission here at the UpLIFT Show simply to enlighten, inform, and inspire the people of God to live our best lives. I'm telling you guys, we got a little bit of everything here on the UpLIFT Show. We have healthcare professionals, we have authors, we have speakers, we have gospel artists, we have comedians, we have game shows. Yes, game shows. Yes, we do give away cash money up in here. So you're definitely going to want to join us for that. And please, I'm inviting you to come and chit and chat with us as we sit down with some of your favorites, like gospel artists, Dove Award winner, Stellar Award winner, Mr. I Told the Storm himself, Mr. Greg O'Quinn, gospel comedy's sweetheart, Felicia Fifi Moore, and the one and only gospel superstar, Miss Vicky Winans. I'm telling you, we got it all here. So I want you to come laugh, come cry, come chat, come share. I want you all to get lifted right here on the UpLIFT Show with me, Easy Breezy, and I will see you on Thursday.
Time to get up and start living our best life and listening to UpLIFT your fellow man. What it costs, just still in the hand. I don't think you understand. Let it wait this in your palms for your prayer and build something. When freedom rings, I hope you answer. When you get the call, it's just to pick up. It's so easy and so breezy like Sunday morning. Let the sun shine in. So open eyes and open ears, cause you know it's
easy, easy like Sunday, breezy, breezy like Sunday, easy like Sunday. Morning, breezy, breezy like Sunday, easy like Sunday, breezy like Sunday morning.
What it is.
It's the UpLIFT Show.
Where it is.
Awesome God Radio.
Who it be.
It's Breezy in the house.
When it is.
It's on right now.
What we do.
We get lifted on the UpLIFT Show. Here we go now.
Easy, breezy, breezy, easy, easy, breezy, easy.
What is up, everybody? God bless your heart and all your parts. And as we say on my planet, good evening. And as we also say on my planet, always make sure to look out for number one while trying not to step in number two. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Before we barely even got started, I've got some great comments here, one especially from AGR's own Nelson Brown. Nelson says, whenever he hears the UpLIFT Show theme song, he gets inspired. And he didn't really say it like this, but I think he wanted to say that that he's ready to shake his tail feather whenever he hears that music come on. I know I do. Fortunately, y'all can't see me, but I'm sitting here when that song comes on, and I have myself a good time, and I always know it's a great Thursday when that song hits. So thank you so much for joining me, everybody. I see Elder Deanna Whittington is joining us tonight. I see my own mommy. Hello, mother. It's so very nice to see you again. Thank you very much. Danielle Lachey, one of my very favorite sisters from New Jerusalem Praise Tabernacle. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. And for all of you, thank you for taking just a few minutes out of your day to spend a little bit of time with me. I have got a lot of great stuff to talk about tonight. First off, we want to definitely keep my co-host Shanda Boo in prayer. She is doing just fine. She just had to work a little bit late tonight. And you got to do what you got to do to make that cash money and to pay those bills. So it's all good. It's all good. But we're always keeping her in prayer. I always miss her when she's not here. And she's not here to roll her eyes at my stupid jokes and to talk about how dumb the dumb tweets are. It's her presence is missed when she's not here. So I'm going to try to hold it down tonight for the both of us. I've got a lot of stuff to talk about, but I want to start with something very important. Of course, it is February here on Earth. But that means it is Black History Month. And what we do every year here on the Uplift Show for Black History Month is we give away what we call the YGB Award. And that is the Young Gifted and Black Award. And for new listeners, you might be saying to yourself, what is the Young Gifted and Black Award? Well, thank you for asking. I'm going to tell you. It is exactly what it sounds like. The YGB Award is awards that we give out to special young people in our community, our young, gifted, and Black men and women, boys and girls who are doing something for their community. Now, this is not to say, of course, that we're not recognizing our young people all over the nation. However, charity begins at home, and we have to recognize our home folks first. So, what does this mean to you? Well, every year we take nominations for the YGB Award. And what you have to do for that, it's very simple. There's not a lot of rules to this contest. We are looking for young people from ages 8 to 20, 25, I believe. No, you know what? Even if I did say 25, let's push it to 30 because 30 is in my brain. So, any young people from ages 8 to 30. And what you do is you can nominate the special young person in your life. It could be your child, your grandchild, your niece, your nephew, a kid at the church, a kid in your neighborhood, one of your students. It doesn't matter. Just as long as that young person is doing something to better their community. They could be a Boy Scout or a Girl Scout. They could be out handing out blankets for the homeless. They could be on a straight honor roll at school. They could be helping mom in the kitchen. It doesn't matter what they're doing, just that they are doing it, and we want to recognize it. We have to heap praise on our young people as much as possible, because if we don't do it, nobody else is going to do it. So let us get out there and nominate our young people. Let's let them know how special they are to us. So all you have to do is email me. My email address is rolling around the bottom of your screen right now. It is breezy like Sunday morn at yahoo.com. Or of course you can inbox me here on here at the Uplift Show, or also on my personal Facebook page, which is Easy Breezy Brianna. Glenn, thank you so much for joining us this evening, my dear. It's always good to see you. So, young people, boys, girls, ages 8 to 30. And of course, we're talking about young ones, but I say up to 30 because you could know a young person who's starting their own business, who is going to college, could be the first person in their family to go to college, could be going to medical school, could be finishing medical school. 8 to 30. Get your nominations in. Email me the name, your name, their name, why you're nominating them, and their contact information. And at the last show of the month, which will be February the 27th, maybe? No, I think maybe the 25th. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The last show of the month, we will be giving out those YGB awards. And not only that, I'm also looking for sponsors for our YGB gifts. That could be an individual. You could be representing a business. You could be representing a church. If you want to donate cash or gift cards or merchandise, anything that you would like to contribute that's going exclusively to our young, gifted, and Black peoples. Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, a couple of other things that I want to share. I am so blessed to be a part of the upcoming production of For Colored Girls Who Have Considered Suicide When the Rainbow Is Enough. Now, depending on your age, you might have seen the play somewhere in the 70s, maybe in the 80s. You might have read the book as part of a college course of literature or something. And if you're a little bit younger, you might only know the Tyler Perry adaptation that came out in the movies 5 or 6 years ago, simply called For Colored Girls. Now, I promise you, no matter how you know this work, whether you've read the book, whether you've seen the play, whether you've listened to the audiobook, whether you've seen the movie, you have not seen For Color Girls until you see the Our Faith production of For Color Girls. And let me put a little disclaimer. I'm gonna put a little asterisk right there. This is a disclaimer for all of my super saved listeners. If you have no prior experience with For Color Girls, this play is not set in the high church. Okay? This play is about life. It's about real life, real emotions, real ideas, real people, and real women. So you need to open up your mind to maybe even that time before you got saved. I call it back in the BS days before salvation. You might have to take yourself back to that time, but I promise you, you will not be disappointed. You can get your tickets. I believe the tickets are $25, but please do not take my word for that because I might be completely and totally lying about that. But you can get your tickets at the venue is going to be at La Familia Arts and Media Center, which is 836 Guilford Avenue in Baltimore. And you can get your tickets by going to www.lafamiliatickets at .ticketleap.com. Did I say that correctly? Probably not. Hold up. Let me say this right. lafamilia.ticketleap.com. That is LAFAMILIA tickets.ticketleap.com. You don't want to miss this. And I am so blessed to be the lady in purple. And if you all don't know, I'm fixing to tell you that purple is the color of royalty. And so I'm going to be bringing my royal self to the royal stage and royally blessing you all with my immense talents. Thank you. Thank you, my loyal subjects. Now, the last thing I want to share before we get into our topic for the evening, I have been fussed at on all sides. Multiple people have fussed at me for not talking about my book. And I apologize for overlooking it. It's just, I usually have so much going on. I'm promoting a lot of people. I've got a lot of things on my mind, and my own work tends to kind of float away from me. There's only but so much brain space that I have. And anyone who knows me personally knows that brain space for me is precious. There's not that much there. And then, I just get tied up with a whole lot of stuff. But I do want to thank those who keep on my back and promote this here, which is chasing shadows to catching dreams, the tale of a phoenix, chapter 1. This is my personal story. Okay, this takes a chapter of my life and puts it down on paper for you, for the reader. This is available right now on Amazon.com. You can simply put in my full name, which is Brianna C. Cabell, Briana Cabell, Brianna C. Cabell, and it is available there for you. Once again, it's called From Chasing Shadows to Catching Dreams, the Tale of a Phoenix. And I'm going to fulfill another product. Thank you, Mother. My mother says that my book is fantastic, but she's my mother. I could spit on a piece of paper and she'd say it was fantastic, and she'd be right. Now, to fulfill a fuss that I get from my mother as well as so many other people, I have chosen a very short excerpt to read tonight to hopefully get you a little interested in going and picking this book up. As I said, this is it's a memoir. It's an autobiography. This is a chapter of my life. It is not particularly long because I haven't been here that long. So this is not something from birth to death because I'm not dead yet either. So this is just a part of me, and I'm going to read you a part of me. Okay. Y'all ready? Y'all know I can't see. Hold up. I'm picking up after. Here's what's unique about this book. Okay, I use poetry and prose to tell my story. So I will tell a little bit of my story, then I will add in a poem that I might have written at that time in my life, or something that corresponds that I wrote at some point with those same feelings. So this is not just straight reading, nor is it straight poetry. Thank you, Elder Deanna, who also says my book is very good. She's always supportive, and I'm so blessed to have her in my life as well. So, what is not a secret, certainly not now, is that I was unfortunately molested as a very young girl. I was about 7 years old, and I had written a poem about that event. And I'd written the poem and I'd read it a few times as I was going through editing processes, and I really didn't pay it that much attention. But one particular night, probably 2 years after I'd written it, it hit me in a certain way that one evening. So I'm going to read a little bit, picking up from where I leave off with that particular poem. But don't worry, I will read at least one poem. I had written the piece a few years prior and never paid much attention, really. It was a part of my past that had happened and was long over. I read it again. I don't know why. I read it slower, looking. Looking for what? I have no idea. I read it again. Something happened. A feeling I hadn't entertained in almost 20 years invaded my personal space without my permission or invitation. I began to cry and immediately scolded myself for doing so. Why are you acting like a baby? This happened long ago. Stop whining. How many of you talk to yourselves like that sometimes? People have been telling you your whole life to let stuff go and get over it, right? Well, get over it. I stormed out of the room where I had been writing and paced up and down the hallway, taking breaths, psyching myself up, pushing aside those unnecessary feelings. I began to feel a surge of power. I am woman, hear me roar. I'm a child of God, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. The devil is a liar. And I felt better. That's good. Moment over. Crisis averted. I win. Ring the bell. But then came the sucker punch. This piece is called Fighting Blind. It grabbed me in the darkness, made sure I couldn't see its face. I knew from the moment it touched me, I was in for a grueling race. Its icy cold fingers gripped my trembling throat, choking away my screams. I scratched and clawed at its fleshless wrist, the monster from the worst of my dreams. I managed to push it back on its heels, but I knew it was a temporary stumble. Just as I started to run away, I felt my body tumble. It snatched my ankles and snickered a bit when I landed face down on the floor. And although all was suddenly silent, I knew it wanted more. I kicked and pushed at the darkness, not knowing what I'd find. I searched in vain for the nothing, knowing I would run out of time. Its breath reeked of the stench of 1,000 rotting souls as it breathed its breath down my neck. In the darkness I could not see its face, but the fight was taking its toll. Its finger reached out and poked my chest, just barely piercing my heart. It wasn't ready to kill me, but I understood it was just a start. One drop of blood trickled. I heard it hit the floor. In that instant, I knew what it had in store. It was toying with me. I was just a plaything, just another player in its unwinnable game. In spite of myself, I begged for mercy, but it was enjoying my pain. For just a moment, it showed some compassion and held me close with love. Then, in a moment, its arms crushed my torso. I prayed for help from above. As my breath slowed down and my heartbeat ceased, a light began to grow dim, and then it began to glow. I didn't know the source of it, but it just continued to grow. I had fought so long and hard in darkness. My vision adjusted slowly. And when I was truly able to see, the only one there to hurt me was me. Before I could have my arms raised in victory over my defeated foe, I was caught in the jaw by an unexpected and powerful blow that knocked out all of my energy. A hallway's length from the sanctity of my room, I rushed towards my haven and barely made it to the foot of the bed before I collapsed in a heap on the floor and was not able to answer the 3 count. There was no blood, but I was bleeding to death. I was hyperventilating, but I didn't have any breath. My eyes were open, but I was completely blind. I was dying. Right there in my room, my mother would come home and find me dead on the floor, clutching my chest. The autopsy would show signs of drowning, but there was no water. Eventually, it would be determined that I died of a massive heart attack due to a previously undiagnosed heart condition. It was absolutely true. I wondered if she would have enough money to bury me. I didn't imagine that many people would miss me after a while. I'm going to stop right there. I don't want to give away too much. That particular evening was the beginning of a healing, a long needed healing. So hopefully something that I said have piqued your interest. You will go on over to Amazon and pick up this book, and you can find out how I was able to overcome and how I got my healing that night. And again, it is called From Chasing Shadows to Catching Dreams, The Tale of a Phoenix, Chapter 1. Thank you for indulging me for just a couple of moments there. I appreciate it. And now, hopefully, the people who fuss at me for not reading my stuff will not fuss at me, at least until, I forget again. Amen. Okay, so I think on that note, before I get into our subject for tonight, I think we're going to take a little music break. I think we're going to take a little praise. We're going to take a little worship break. I think this is the perfect time to do so. What do you think? Thank you so much. Thank you for answering me. I knew you would like that too. So let us, I'm trying to see my screen here. All right, here we go. Take a little break. When we come back, the subject that I have for you tonight is, have you considered my servant? And we will talk a little bit more about that in just a few moments. Lord.
Father, I stretch my hands to thee. No other hand I know, if thou withdraw thyself from me, oh, where shall I go? This is for you, Mama Shirley. We are our heavenly Father's children, And we all know that he loves us one and all. But yet there are times when we find we'll answer another's voice and call. But if we are willing, the Lord will teach us his voice alone to obey no matter where. Boy, he knows. I'm so glad he knows just how much we can bear. He knows just how much we can bear. He knows just how much we can bear. I'm glad he knows, and I know you know that he knows. I know you know he knows just how much we can bear. We can trust him with all our hearts. He said if we trust him and if we never doubt, he would surely bring us out. And in all of our ways, if we acknowledge him, he will direct our path. No matter where the path may take us, he's still gonna keep us. So we gotta trust him. Yeah. So we gotta lean on him. Yeah. So we gotta depend on him, 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 depend on him. He knows just how much we can bear, how much we can bear. Thank you, Lord. We trust you, 'cause you know. Hallelujah. I love you, Mama.
Oh, what I done did. Okay. Somehow I done lost my feed. I hope y'all can see me. Hold up. I don't know what happened. Y'all can't see me, but can you hear me? Lord Jesus. What I done did. If y'all can hear me, let me know. Somebody put a comment up there and let me know if y'all can hear me. Okay, y'all can hear me, you just can't see me. I don't know what I did or what I didn't did. Y'all give me a second. Okay. Everybody says they can hear me. Why can't I know that this has got to be so terrible that you're having such heart palpitations and whatnot because you can't see my gorgeous face, and I don't know what I did. Oh, wait a minute, what's this thing? What did I just press? No, that ain't it. Okay, I'm gonna ask y'all to hold on right there. Don't go nowhere. And I realized I had just muted my mic and I'm just talking and talking and talking, and nobody but the cat heard what I said. I don't know what I have done, and I'm scared to come out and then go back in because that might cut the whole broadcast. I don't know what to do. And like I said, I know that y'all are just itching to see my wonderful face. But see, this is what gone again. See, this is what happens when you have to produce your own show because COVID has left you in your own home studio and you can't go to the studio where it's the producer's job to fix your mistakes. So I'm going to go ahead and restart. I'm going to go out and come back in. Y'all hang in there with me just a minute. Okay. Okay. Can y'all see me now? I hope so. I can see me. I'm looking at comments here. Okay. It looks okay. We back. We back. I don't know what I did. Ooh, I need me a producer. Where's Tyler Perry when I need him? Okay. So now, due to technical difficulties, we have been experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by. Please stand by. Thank y'all so much for hanging in for a few minutes while I took care of that. I don't know, computer fart or something. I'm not a technologically inclined person necessarily. I kind of get on and do what I have to do and then get off because things like that happen. So, as I have wasted, I see a good amount of time. Let me hurry up and get to our subject and get through as much as I possibly can tonight. Tonight's subject is, have you considered my servant? And most of you will recognize that as coming from the book of Job, where there is a conversation going on between the Lord and Satan. And Satan is just, minding his own business. He's doing his Satan thing. And, God says, what you doing? And he says, oh, I'm just walking around, taking a look and seeing who I can tear up today. And God says, well, have you considered my servant Job? And Satan says, well, and he says, well, Job is he's a man after my own heart. He's a stand-up individual. He's a great father. He's a great businessman. He's got riches. He's got health. He's got a beautiful wife. He's got the brand new Maserati. He's got all this stuff. And Satan says, well, of course, that he'd be happy and praising you and everything. Look at everything that you've given him. You've got a hedge around him. So, he's so blessed that of course he's going to be one of your favorites. And he says, okay, you can take everything you have away from him and watch what my servant Job does. Now, of course, that was the Breezy translation, not available in stores near you. But what I want to know because I know that I've gone through this and in some ways have been going through it even now. How many times have you ever felt like all hell was breaking loose in your house, in your life? Not just some hell, but all hell. It seems like you just keep losing over and over and over and over again. And especially in this season that we're in, we are in a very difficult and trying time where every single person has been touched with a loss of some kind since the beginning of this whole COVID mess. And for many of us, even beforehand, because how many remember that even before COVID started, we still had plenty of turmoil politically, socially, racially. Now we're blessed that we have a new administration coming in and hopefully things will begin to change little by little. But let me tell you something. One thing that I have learned in this time is that the more things change, the more they stay the same. Things have changed, yes. Things have gotten better, yes. Things will continue to get better, yes. But some things have not changed. And what we have now in this particular time in our nation is we now have permission to show that we haven't changed. We are given permission to be who you are, what you want to be, how you want to be it. If you're a man, you can be a woman. If you're a woman, you can be a man. If you're a cat, you can be a dog. You can do anything you want to, and it's perfectly acceptable. And what that does is create confusion and chaos. And and as we all know, Satan is the author of confusion. And I want you to know that I'm not looking at my notes yet. This is just coming out at the moment. But the devil is the author of confusion. And what we are in the middle of is confusion. And so, on top of all this confusion, then we had mass hysteria because we've got people who are getting sick and don't know where they're getting sick from, how they're getting sick, how to deal with it. We've lost loved ones, we've lost friends, we've lost co-workers, we've lost neighbors. Some of us have lost our spouses or even our children, our parents. Every single person can say that they have been touched in some way or another. If you have not lost someone, then you might have lost a job. You might have lost income. People, you might have lost a home. Everyone has lost something. But let me tell you something. Life happens to us all. Out of nowhere. Now I'm on my notes. Y'all pray for me. Out of nowhere, circumstances arise that will either set you back or simply shift everything in your life. You did not see it coming, so you feel totally unprepared. It could be anything from an unfavorable doctor's report during a routine annual checkup or termination of employment after years of commendations and faithful service. While you would like to discover a deep, complex reason, more often than not, it's just life. And life happens to us all. Now we're not all Job, of course. It doesn't mean that every single person has lost everything in their life at the same time. But life happens to all of us. Whether it's in your health, your family, or in your finances, at some point we will all go through storms. Storms that make you want to condemn yourself or to blame the devil. Storms so severe that you want to hide from the embarrassment of loss. You're left feeling that you are the only one caught in the cyclone of setbacks. Now, as I've already said, right now we realize and we understand that we're all in this together right now. We're all in the same boat. Whoever you are, what you're doing, what you're not doing, we're all in the same boat. But even though we're all going through, when you are in pain, you see your pain and nobody else's pain. You might think, well, that's just selfish or that's self-centered. No, it's not. It's human. It's not that we don't care about anybody else, but when you hurt, you hurt. Okay. And not only that, sometimes it does, not necessarily at this particular time in life, but sometimes it does happen where it seems like you're the only one who's dealing with a whole bunch of mess. Everybody else is, You know, all your girlfriends are having babies. You going to all their baby showers, but you're barren. Maybe you're going to a whole bunch of your buddies' weddings, but you can't get a date. This is not unusual. It's life. Oh my goodness. Sometimes we do feel very alone. I know I do. Most believers have become especially adept at putting on a spiritual face to cover up what we perceive as failures or vulnerabilities. Hmm. How many people do that? Please allow me to fill you in on something. It is not uncommon to love the Lord and still deal with depression, disappointment, and defeat. Don't ever let anybody tell you that just because you're going through something that you have lost your connection with God, or that you have sinned or done something horrible and now you're being punished. But I'm gonna get there in a minute. Let me stick to my notes, because y'all know what happens when I go off my notes. 1 Corinthians 10 and 13 tells us, no temptation has overtaken you except such as is common to man. Usually you see this scripture and immediately think of sin, lust, or moral failure. However, there are many other temptations in life. What about the temptation to quit, to get even and seek revenge, to harbor bitterness, or the temptation that to believe that to believe the doctor's report and not even try? You didn't pick the test. You didn't pick your test. It came in and took over. As if that isn't enough, while you are navigating through these land mines of life, someone is sitting on the sidelines judging you. There's always somebody in the stands, ready to hoot and laugh and holler every time you stumble. What is it? It's life. I want to see some comments here. Y'all speak to me. Talk to me. Let me know whether I'm talking right or talking wrong. Oftentimes coming to the conclusion that obviously you failed God somewhere to get into the situation you're in, and you begin to wonder, maybe they're right. Sometimes we have what we call fair weather friends. So now let's talk about our brother Job. Job's friends tried to console him, but they soon started to blame him for his own troubles, inferring that he must have sinned in order for all these trials to come upon him. That is something that is far too easy for believers to do. When they see a Christian suffer, they unfairly assume that there must be sin in that believer's life. But suffering is not always a result of sin. And as we see with Job, in many cases, those who are sinners suffer little, while those who are saints suffer much. Many people see this as a stumbling block for Christianity and ask why God allows suffering instead of asking why. They may be better off asking what. What is God up to? What is he trying to produce in us? Like the refiner's fire, God often uses suffering to produce righteous character in believers. Sometimes he wants those who suffer to be more dependent upon him. It may be that he is trying to get our attention. We might even be sinning. However, we cannot always equate suffering with sin in a believer's life, as we see with Job's experience. Now, for a quick recap, of course, Job lost everything that he had. He was the richest man in the land, thousands and thousands of heads of cattle and sheep and goats and I don't know, motorcycles and everything. He had, wonderful children. He had servants. He had everything and lost it all, almost all at the same time. At first, Job's friends tried to help Job, but they quickly turned to accusing him of some sort of hidden or known sin. Job knows that this is not the reason and tries to justify himself against their accusations. But his justification quickly turns to self righteousness, and that is sin before God. Now, we're not necessarily accusing Job of sin, but we're recognizing sin. Okay. Job's friends say, is not your wickedness great? Are not your sins endless? You demanded security from your brothers for no reason. You stripped men of their clothing, leaving them naked. You gave no water to the weary, and you withheld food from the hungry. Though you were a powerful man, owning land, an honored man, a powerful man, you sent widows away empty-handed, and broke the strength of the fatherless. This is why snares are all around you. Why suddenly you have been terrified. Now, Job's friends are accusing him of all kind of hell. They're accusing him of doing all kind of stuff. But guess what? Job didn't do any of these things. He didn't send away the homeless and the hungry. He didn't down on the widows. He didn't do any of these things. But because of what he was going through, because he had lost everything, because his skin was covered with boils, because his wife didn't even want him anymore, because he lost everything, they made up this stuff. Well, you must have done this, and you did that, and you did that, and you did that. None of it was true, and Job knew that it was not true. But how can you convince somebody else of that? Because all they see is the suffering. All they see is the outcome of what you must have done. It doesn't matter whether you did it or not, but they see it. So how do you get through that? Good question. Before you fall into despair, remember 1 Corinthians 10 and 13 also says, but God is faithful. He knows your frame, and he knows just how much you can bear. And when you feel you can't face another day, he graciously extends a supernatural strength to withstand and overcome the obstacles and opposition life may bring. Family, I can't tell you how many times I just kept moving because God was faithful. Even when I wasn't, he was faithful. When I failed, when I disappointed him, when I messed up, he still loved me. He loved me in my unfaithfulness, and in my disobedience, in my stubbornness, in my weakness, in my trials, in my tribulations, in my pain, in my mistakes. He was faithful to me. He loved me anyway. And believe me when I tell you that everything has the potential to fail. Everything has the potential to fail you, but God. The word says that the arm of flesh will fail you every time. That means your best friend, your husband, your wife, your mama, your daddy, your pastor, your bishop, your boss. The arm of flesh will fail you every time. Every flesh has the potential to fail you. But God is not flesh and blood. He's not a man. He's not the son of man. He is spirit. He cannot fail you. He doesn't know how to do such. Excuse me. I'm still looking for some comments here, ladies and gentlemen. Still looking for some comments here. Everything, as I said, has the potential to fail you, but God. He is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore, and his word will come to pass. Remember that you are fit for the fight that you're in. Don't fret and don't give in. God has already equipped you with everything you need to win. And to go back to one of my favorite old songs, why should you feel discouraged, and why should the shadows come? Why should your heart feel lonely and long for your heavenly home when Jesus is your portion? a constant friend, a healer, redeemer, deliverer, safe place, strong tower, the wheel in the middle of the wheel, the first, the last, the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning, the end, the Genesis, and the Revelation. He is the great I am. Faith, however, is not foolish. Don't go skipping around wherever you please. Yeah, I'm going somewhere here. I know that everybody, no, not everybody, but we're most of us are happy now that we got these vaccines coming, and we're praying that things are starting to slow down. But I'm gonna say this before I get out of here: don't go skipping around wherever you please because you're covered by the blood. Be covered by the blood, but also be covered by your mask. Soap and water too, please. Thank you very much. And I don't know about you, but I think all of us really can appreciate getting into the habit of washing our hands more often anyway. Our hands are usually filthy because we do everything with them. We pump the gas and pick a nose and all this other kind of stuff. So yeah, it's all right to do those things. I've got my first shot in the vaccine. My second shot is due, I think, in two and a half weeks. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to start running around with no mask on my face. I'm not going to start, running around hugging and kissing all over everybody. Although I miss my hugs. I'm a hug-a-bug. I love my hugs. Hey, Sherelle, I miss hugs from Sherelle. But I can't go running around putting my hands and lips all over everybody just because I have a vaccine. Does not Just because you have a vaccine doesn't mean that you can't be a carrier. So even though I might not get it, you might put your cooties on me, and then I go around spreading your cooties around. I don't get the cooties, but I give them to other people. So that still is part of the problem and not part of the solution. So I know that I veered quickly to the right. We're talking about Job. We're talking about God loving us anyway. We're talking about sin not necessarily being the root of the problem, and all of a sudden we're talking about COVID and cooties. But y'all know how Breezy do. I go from here to there, everywhere. Sherelle says she does give the best hugs. Thank you for thinking more highly of yourself than you ought to think, the Minister of Fun, Sherelle. But she does give good hugs and great smiles. So, in closing, although I kind of already closed because I don't even know where I left off. Y'all know I never stick to my notes like I'm supposed to. I do see that we have just about run out of time. Remember, I said this before, but I'm going to say it again. Jesus is your portion, a constant friend, the healer, redeemer, deliverer, safe place, strong tower, the first, the last, the Alpha, the Omega, the Genesis, and the Revelation. He is the great I am. He is so great, he simply is. So regardless of what you're going through, how many people you've lost, job you might have lost, finances you might have lost, home you might have lost, you still haven't lost God, and he hasn't lost you. We can let go of God, but he will never let go of us. And I don't know about you, but I need that word right now. I need that assurance right now, that blessed assurance that even when I lift up my hands and I say, okay, that's it, I'm done, I let go, God still has me. He still has his loving arms wrapped around me. He still has me covered and protected under the shadow of his wings. So in my humanness, in my mistakes, in my pain, I still have the victory. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you. Mommy, you are right. Sometimes he is our only friend. Because what did we say a few minutes ago? The arm of flesh will fail you every time. And this is my mother here. And as much as I love my mother, there are simply some things that she cannot do. My mother can't save me. My mother can't deliver me. My mother can't erase my sin. My mother can't get me into heaven. My mother can love me. My mother can pray for me. My mother can maybe give me some advice, but her power is limited. She is limited because she's a human. My pastor is limited because she's a human. My bishop is limited because he's a human. My boss is limited because she's a human. But the great I am is limitless. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Don't forget, get your tickets for Color Girls Who Have Considered Suicide When the Rainbow Is Enough, starring yours truly as the Lady in Purple. I'm telling you, we have a phenomenal cast. I had some of the cast members on last month, and because of COVID, we did have to push the dates back from February to May. So before the play comes, believe me, I will have the cast on again. The lady in red, the lady in orange, the lady in blue, the lady in, excuse me, the lady in green. We're going to come to, this is going to be awesome. For Color Girls Who Have Considered Suicide When the Rainbow Is Enough, you can go to lafamilia.ticketleap.com. Yeah, lafamilia.ticketleap.com. The address is 836 Guilford Road in Baltimore, right next to the Dunkin' Donuts. Y'all know where the Dunkin' Donuts is. So make sure that you get your tickets to that. Do not forget to send in your nominations for the YGB Award. It is time to recognize our young, gifted, and Black young men and young women right here in Baltimore, ages 8 to 30. All you have to do, you see my email address is crawling across the bottom of your screen, Breezy like Sunday morning at yahoo.com. Send me your name, your nominee's name, why you're nominating them, and their contact information. And at the end of this month, we will be awarding those prizes. Also, again, we're looking for sponsors. If you want to sponsor one of our YGB awards, if you want to contribute as an individual, as a business, as a church, we are accepting cash. You can do Cash App. We're accepting gift cards. We're accepting merchandise. We're accepting anything that you want to donate for one of our young people. Please contact me. I am available 24/7. Unless I'm asleep, then I'm not available. But many of you have my phone number. Go ahead and call me. You can email me again at breezylikesundayMorning@yahoo.com. You can inbox me right here on Facebook. There's many ways to get a hold of me. You can, roll up your window right now and just start screaming, and I'll probably hear you. My mother says Krispy Kreme only. Okay, yes, Krispy Kreme is better than Dunkin' Donuts. However, y'all still know where that Dunkin' Donuts is. So, of course, I will not leave you. I'm not going to do any dumb tweets. You know why? Because Shanda is not here to roll her eyes. And I need my Shanda to bounce these dumb tweets off of. So I'm going to save my dumb tweets for when my Shanda is here. But I certainly will not leave you without an uplifting thought of the day. Again, of the week. Again, this being Black History Month, I wanted to choose some words from some powerful people in our community, in our history. And this week, I have chosen a favorite author of mine, Mr. Ralph Waldo Emerson. And he says very simply and very powerfully, what lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. Can I say that again? Thank you. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. Y'all got it going on. Y'all got to go. As a matter of fact, I'm going to close this. I always write down these lovely thoughts, but I'm gonna close that out and I'm gonna say something to you from my heart. Something that we say whenever we close a service or something at our church, New Jerusalem Praise Tabernacle, where the powers and the love and deliverance is in your praise, is we always say, look to your neighbor and say, I'm a winner. Are you bragging on yourself? Yes, you are a winner. Every single one of you are winners. As long as you keep your eyes stayed on Jesus, you cannot fail. Will you lose some fights? Yes. Will you lose a couple of battles? Yes. Will you win the war? Absolutely yes. We don't go skipping from mountaintop to mountaintop. Sometimes you got to be in the valley too, but you will not stay there. But you can learn while you're there. And it doesn't matter what's in front of you, it doesn't matter what's behind you, it only matters what's in you. And you have it in you. As always, family, I want you to get love, get peace, get wisdom, get understanding. And above all, I want you to get lifted. I'll see you next week.